Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Butter, coming back at you. Today, I want to get into a pair of kicks that I actually got exclusive access for on the Nike Sneakers app. This is an OG pair, and a lot of people are really anticipating these, but there's also a whole lot of people that aren't interested at all. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these Jordan 8s in the playoff colorway. So surprisingly enough, I didn't get this shoe from my local Finish Line. I actually have a lot of running to do the Saturday that these drop, so I'm really glad that I was able to get them through exclusive access on Sneakers. I do typically prefer to reserve a pair in store at my local Finish Line, just because then I can use those status rewards, and I just about always have $20 off a pair, so I always prefer to save money, but I also don't mind being able to grab them a little bit early through exclusive access on Sneakers. I can't remember the last time that I had exclusive access on Sneakers. It may have been for those off-white dunk lows, like the lots 1 through 50. I ended up getting lot 6, but I really think that might have been the last time that I had exclusive access. So it always feels kind of nice to see that alert, see that you're able to buy them early. I don't think this pair is going to be terribly hard to get. I think that these will probably sit for a little while. There are a lot of people that are really into this shoe, but I've also heard a lot of people saying that they've got no interest in these whatsoever. So let's get into them. We got a standard Jordan box. We see this box for like 6s, 7s, a bunch of different Jordan retro silhouettes come in this. It's got the gray bottom, the black lid, Air Jordan, and a red Jumpman there on the top. The tag reads Air Jordan 8 Retro. The colors are black, true red, and white. I got a size 10.5 in these, but I would suggest going true to size. In silhouettes like the 3 and the 4, I always have to go a half size up, but I would say in this pair, you're safe going true to size. Much like the 6s, like the 7s, I typically go with my true to size, which is a size 10 in those shoes. I think retail for these was $210, so again, I would have preferred to use my status rewards and get some money off of them, but we've got homecoming and a bunch of family stuff going on Saturday, so I wouldn't have been able to pick them up from Finish Line anyhow. So here they are, the playoff Jordan 8s, and these things definitely bring back that feeling of nostalgia. I remember the first time that I saw a pair of 8s, it was actually the Aqua 8s, and my uncle, who was heavy into Jordan and the Bulls and everything, he always had the new Jordans that came out, and he came to my grandparents' house, and I remember he was wearing the Aqua 8s, and I really loved that shoe. I remember just being so like mesmerized by the chenille badge on the tongue, and I think on the Aqua 8s it's like turquoise and purple. Along with being a Jordan fan back in the early 90s, I was also really heavy into the Hornets. And one of the main reasons, I think, is just because I like their colors so much. And I would wear a ton of Hornets gear. And I had like the big puffy starter jacket and everything like that. But I was a huge Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson fan. And whenever I saw the Aqua 8s, I really thought that they would be perfect to go with a lot of my Hornets gear, and they really had my attention. The Aqua 8 is still my favorite colorway of the 8, but this is definitely dope, and it really does take me back. Accents like we see here at the base of the shoe, and then as well as on the sock liner and on the outsole. There's certain things that really trigger childhood memories whenever you see them, and this shoe for me is really full of nostalgia. I didn't realize either that these are basically the closest to the originals that we've seen. I think this shoe originally came out in '93. It's been retroed multiple times, but the last time it was retroed, I think, was in 2013, which is a decade ago. And I don't think they've ever been as close to the original as what they are now. One thing I've heard people are really happy about is the fact that this pull tab is red now instead of black, because that's true to the original. Personally, what really grabbed my attention is I was expecting this whole upper to be like that Durabuck or Fubuck or felt, whatever you want to call it. I thought it was all going to be this synthetic material. However, the base of the shoe feels like it's a really nice nubuck, and you get a lot of texture on it. Hopefully you can see that coming through on camera, but you get a lot of nice texture on all those base panels that you can see there. And the overlay is actually the Durabuck, and it's got that synthetic feel to it. Also, when you see them in person, the base material looks a lot lighter, and that's because it is a genuine material compared to these overlays of the darker black, which is that Durabuck or fake nubuck, whatever you want to call it. But I'm really glad that they gave us this material on the base, because I think that gives the shoe a much more premium feel, and I like seeing the little variation in black whenever you're looking at them in person. Feeling this pair in hand, they definitely do feel heavy and even a little bit clunky. I just did a review for like silhouettes that I love wearing in the fall time, and one thing that was consistent with all those silhouettes is that they kind of feel like a boot, or they kind of fit like a boot because they come up higher and they're just a more clunky, bulky kind of shoe. I feel like this fits in that same category. I think in the toe box and even on the side panels, you can see that shape coming through from the 6s and the 7s. But then once you get to the top, these things have a crazy unique look, and they don't look like anything else. I really think that the Jordan brand did a good job with the time that they dropped these, because going into the fall and going into the winter time, this being an all black shoe and being heavier and just kind of boot-like, I think this is the perfect time to drop this shoe, because I think it's very wearable for this season. But looking at the outsole, another thing that's very similar to 6s and 7s, at least to me, is just seeing all these little circles for the traction pattern on the outsole. I love all these colors. I like that hit of yellow for the Jumpman underneath the forefoot, but much like 6s and 7s, it's just got a whole lot of little circles on it for the traction. When I was a kid, I always just thought that was graffiti, but either way, it's really neat looking, and I love those colors. Then as we come up to the midsole, we can see that we've got areas of black rubber, but it meets this black foam, and on some portions of it we have like a metallic finish, and then on other areas of it it's just a regular black color without the sparkle. But like around the heel here, hopefully that's coming through on camera, but there's a lot of little sparkly flakes in there. And then towards the center of the foot, it's just a regular black. There's no sparkles. But then up here towards the front, it's got that metallic effect again. And I think that's really, really cool looking. Just like the accent on the outsole, I feel like these little accent pieces really grab your attention. This kind of feels like what the accents on the sides of 12s feels like. Again, we have this kind of graffiti looking effect, and it's just white, black, and red, but it looks very, very cool, and it really does take me back to my childhood. You have those accents on the inside of the shoe and also on the outside. I feel like the shape is a little bit different than what it used to be, so I don't know if maybe I'm not remembering it correctly, but it just seems like this piece right here especially used to be shaped different, but I don't know, let me know if I'm crazy on that. We have a pretty genuine feeling material for the base of the upper, and you can see a really neat texture. It feels smooth, it doesn't really feel wrinkly, but it really looks like it's a genuine material, and it has a nice feel to it. You do get a lot of back and forth motion whenever you change the direction on it, but this base material has a very high-end feel compared to the overlays of Durabuck. You can see on the side panels where this base material is, it's got little perforations going all through there as well. Then we have all these overlays of a synthetic material. People call it Durabuck, fake nubuck, whatever you want to call it. It looks nice. It's nice and dark. It'll hold that really dark color. I would imagine as these age, the base will probably get even lighter, but this will probably stay nice and dark. So you'll probably see even more contrast between the base material and these Durabuck overlays the more that these shoes age. One of the most unique features of 8s, along with that chenille tag where the Jumpman is on the tongue, is just the way these straps kind of crisscross over top of the tongue. And then you have these Velcro straps that say Air Jordan, but they really do lock onto your feet. I think this shoe is a really, really warm shoe. So again, I think it's very good for this time of year. I like how bold that 23 is embroidered onto that X. I think that's pretty neat looking. The base of the tongue feels just like a 6 or a 7. I don't know what that material is, but it's just kind of silky and smooth, very breathable and stretchy. And then you actually feel that more on the top of the tongue as well. But then, of course, we have that chenille patch with the red Jumpman embroidered on there. We also have a sock liner much like a Huarache. So again, these things really do lock down onto your feet. This is kind of like a silky feeling material, much like on the base of the tongue. So I would recommend, again, going true to size, because if not, they might slide on your ankle, and I hate that feeling. So if you want a snug fit, I would definitely go true to size, maybe even a half size down. On the back of the tongue and also on this kind of sock liner, we have the same colors that we saw there on the outsole, and it's just a nice little pop, a nice little accent of color. And I don't think I can get you a good look at the insole, but it's black and has white Nike Air branding down on it. That was a pretty quick look at these 8s. I think that they were done really well. It really does give me those nostalgic feelings that I had whenever I was a kid. The 8 is not a Jordan Retro that I find myself going back to a whole lot. Actually, I can't remember the last time that I wore an 8. My favorite 8 is the Aquas, just because that's what I remember from my childhood more than any other colorway. I think this is a great time of year to drop these, but this isn't a shoe that I think really fits my style that well, but I do like having an OG pair in an OG colorway in the collection. I think these might be pretty easy to get for a while, but then it could be one of those shoes that once it's gone, and a whole lot of people will kick themselves for passing on them. But anyhow, let me know what you all think about these. Let me know if this was a pair that you wanted to add to your collection, or if you just let these pass by. I appreciate you all watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.